see if you bastards can do 90.
Hello. Got a little music. That's the one minute mark of the Gorillaz song M1A1 from their debut soundtrack. And the reason I was playing that is because the opening lines of that are one of the first lines of the movie Day of the Dead, which I never realized. When the guy saying, "Hello, is anybody there?" So it's a group of survivors flying in a helicopter and they land, and they're looking for more survivors. And that's when that line is from. But anyways, so this is Day of the Dead from 1985. George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. This is the third in the series. So of course they had Night of the Living Dead was the first one, and then Dawn of the Dead, which I reviewed. I think that was actually my first review that I recorded. So I didn't see that too long ago. And I like that one. I'll kind of refer back to that a little bit later though. So like I said, this one starts out, it's actually kind of confusing because Dawn of the Dead ends with a couple of people leaving the mall in a helicopter, and it's a woman and a black man. And then this starts with a group of people flying in a helicopter, and there's a woman and a black man, and you kind of think right away, is that the same characters? Kind of confusing to me. That's what I thought right away. Right away, we noticed the man has he has an accent, and then the woman is not the same woman. But I just thought that's kind of interesting. I wonder if they did that on purpose for a reason, but they're not the same characters, so it's a different group. And like I said, at the beginning, they're going into town. They're looking to see if anybody else is alive. They can find any survivors. They're unsuccessful. We just see a bunch of zombies coming out as they're yelling into the megaphone. And it just looks like, out of luck. There's a lot of zombies out there. And so they get back in the helicopter and leave. And then we follow them back, and they go to wherever they're living. And we kind of see there's a fence around this landing pad, and it looks pretty congested with zombies pressing up against those fences. And then they go underground. And so we realize that there's actually kind of two smaller groups within this large group of survivors. There's a group of scientists, and then there's also a group of military people. So the woman is probably one of our main protagonists. Her name is Sarah. She's a scientist. And then there's Dr. Frankenstein is what the military refer to him. He's another scientist, Dr. Logan. And then there's a couple other, one or two scientists, couple guys that are just, one guy's kind of in charge of radio and electronics. Another guy's in charge of, he's a pilot. And the rest of the group is military. I think there's about seven military. And right away we learn that the officer that was in charge died while this group was out looking for other survivors in the helicopter. And now there's a Major Rhodes is in charge of everybody. And he's not a very nice guy. He's kind of an a-hole. And we learn that right away. And some of his soldiers, I guess, kind of respect him. The scientists don't like him. So right away there's a lot of turmoil within this group. The scientists and the military personnel. They're just butting heads the whole time. So that will be a main plot point throughout the movie. And so what they're trying to do, this group went down there when the whole zombie plague broke out, and they're trying to find a cure. Supposedly, that's what Sarah thinks, that they're trying to find a cure. They have, they're actually like in an abandoned mine, and you can see that they corral some of the zombies every once in a while, and they bring them into this area where they can cordon them off, and every once in a while they'll get one, and one or two bring them in and do experiments on them. Well, the scientists will. So Sarah thinks that they're trying to find a cure. Turns out Logan he seems to be the main doctor, is more interested in trying to control them and make them behave the way they want to, kind of domesticate them, and so they won't attack, and so that they can just kind of do what we want them to. That's kind of what he's been doing, and that's his goal. He thinks it's more logical to try to do that than to try to cure them. And so, like I said, there's a lot of tension within the group. Rhodes, right away, when he comes into power, he gets very power hungry and just kind of authoritarian right away. Tells everybody what to do. Threatens Sarah that he's going to kill her or have somebody else kill her. So there's a lot of this tension going on. Sarah's also kind of romantically involved with a man named Miguel, and he's actually a soldier, but he's starting to crack under all this pressure. You know, he's starting to lose it, so there's that as well. One of the main zombies that Logan's been working on, his name is Bub, and he actually starts to show signs of being able to learn, and so there's actually kind of hope that they might be able to domesticate them to make them learn, so they won't kill and stuff like that. But then that kind of gets thrown out the window once the military and the scientists, they just come to a head in a very violent way. And of course, you can probably guess kind of what happens, but I don't want to explain everything, lay it all out. It's really gory, so I mean, it's kind of expecting that. Dawn of the Dead is pretty gory. I think they're just kind of, for their time, they each kind of stepped up gore factor, and this one really got there. That's for sure. And I'm pretty sure it's the same crew of special effects people. Tom Savini is the main special effects guy that did Dawn of the Dead and this. And also, I really recognized Greg Nicotero. He is the main special effects person for The Walking Dead, the show. And you can really see that. I think he might have been directing this last season too. But so yeah, this is a huge step forward as far as special effects is concerned and makeup. So Dawn of the Dead, like I mentioned, they're very gray. We're just like painted gray. That's just what they do for a zombie look. And here you have some of that every once in a while, and then you also have kind of different colored skin. So some like Bub's more green, but he also looks more decayed, and the makeup's just a lot better. They look more like decaying people than just somebody painted gray. So I appreciated that. I thought that was good. They're advancing in the makeups department. And like I said, it's gory. It's pretty violent. And I thought, I'm not a super big fan of gore in general, I guess, but I can handle it if it's deserved in the movie. I thought the end, it got a little bit gratuitous. There's just certain things that are happening with zombies, what they're doing to the people. It's kind of like, okay, we get it. Move on, because it kind of goes on for a long time, and after a while it just kind of, you make your point, maybe just move on. That's what I thought anyway. For me, this is my favorite of the trilogy so far. I've never sat down and watched the first one yet. I know it was a huge deal at the time. I've heard others, that doesn't really hold up that well. It's black and white, it's a little bit slower. I still have yet to go back to that one, but I like this a little bit better than the Dawn of the Dead. I gave Dawn of the Dead 4.25, and I'm giving this, I guess I'm giving it the same rating, 4.25. I thought I gave it a little bit better rating, but I guess I like them equally. I think it does step it up in terms of makeup effects are a lot better here, and I like the two different stories, respectively, so they're different, but they're, both good in their own ways. So Day of the Dead, here, I guess, Dawn of the Dead, they're in the shopping mall. You have that story, just trying to survive. And then here, you get into, it's kind of familiar now with kind of, The Walking Dead and other zombie movies there, focusing on the science part of it, trying to find a cure. So I like it. I like how they advanced with the two movies, Dawn of the Dead to this. I think they're a very good progression in every way. And they complement each other really well. So it's a cult classic. I guess this actually didn't do as well as the last two. financially and maybe critically when it came out, but it gained a really good cult following. And I think it's really good. I think it's just as good, if not a little bit better, than Dawn of the Dead. So definitely, it's a cult icon, classic for the zombie movie genre. Needs to be seen. I would definitely check it out. You don't really need to. I guess it's good to see him in progression, but like I had mentioned, I haven't seen the first one yet, so I'd say watch Dawn of the Dead then this. But you could always just watch this and go back. I don't think you're gonna miss a ton. There's not continuous storylines or anything going throughout the movies, except that it's a plague that started in the first one and has just continued basically. So yeah, I would definitely check it out. I think if you're a horror fan, zombie movie fan, or you're just it even kind of transcends that too. It's just a classic movie by now, so I would definitely check it out. Like I mentioned in my last review, I'm gonna mention trailers a little bit now. I think this is even more important for older movies because nowadays, last 10, 15 years or so, whatever, you can make any movie look good with this trailer pretty much. You can have a good trailer and have a crappy movie. So I think older trailers are a lot harder to judge what the final product is going to be. They have a very different tone, I think. This one, hopefully, so the one I'm going to post is hopefully the one that I watched before. The trailer is decent, makes it look a little bit campier than it is. So I think the main scene that I'm thinking of is when you see that soldier and all the arms come out and they're gonna grab him, and he's like, woo! And he does a slow turnaround. It just it doesn't play well, and it looks kind of campy and goofy. And that scene is kind of so, but overall, it's very serious, and there's not a lot of humor in it. It's not campy or anything. So I will say that the trailer is a little so on portraying the feel and the emotion of the movie. So yeah, definitely check it out. All right, I'll take it.